Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Welcome back to another episode of the Pregame Podcast. We lit, we live, and while y'all at it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's Thursday, September 4th. We back. We back. All right. It's another episode of your favorite podcast. The best kept secret around here. You feel me? That's what a lot of people tell me. So I appreciate y'all, man. Yo, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. We got some fun today. For those who are new, welcome to the Pregame Podcast. Is your fusion of sports and pop culture, where we talk about a little bit of everything. And here at the Pregame, we're always gonna keep it 100. This is a Pregame podcast with my host Shad from PNP and Vashti from Carolina Blitz. Like I always say, or if you've been paying attention for the last couple of weeks, Vashti has been extremely busy. She'll be back with us in October, so shout out to her and everything that she got going on. And then Shad, if you weren't paying attention to PNP this week, he is actually on vacay with his wife celebrating their anniversary. So shout out to Shad and Mrs. Beard, man. Happy anniversary to y'all. If you're watching, Shad, I appreciate you. Vashti, if you're watching, I appreciate you. And hang in there. I know she's getting sick as well, so definitely get well soon. Cool. So you already know what we're gonna say. If y'all new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome Pregame Gang.
Hey, say gang.
We in here. You feel me? So we always gonna start off with what you pulling up with, and then I'll do my roll call. So if you new here, basically what I mean, what you pulling up with. If you've ever attended a pregame, right? You never pull up to the pregame empty-handed. You always got to bring something, right? Here at the pregame podcast, what we mean is that you don't have to bring anything tangible, but we want you to bring is a vibe, is an energy, is an attitude. You feel me? So I want to know how your week was and what you're pulling up with. All right. So I need to make sure y'all drop that in the chat. Let me know what kind of energy, what you're pulling up with today. For me, I'm pulling up with a ton of enthusiasm, okay? Because, bro, football is back. Football is back, yo. Week 1 is lit. I'm excited. I don't care who playing tonight. I just want to hear helmets clashing. You know, I said it every time. I said it during preseason, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I'm gonna stand beside it. We got the Cowboys and Eagles tonight, and then our boys. You know what I'm saying? Carolina Panthers play. So I'm pulling with a lot of enthusiasm tonight. But then also, this week Monday was my youngest son's birthday. He turned 3, so happy belated to my son Cairo. 3 going on 30, man. He is full of energy. He loves the Panthers already. So we got a future Panther fan in the works already. So happy birthday to him. Before I do roll call, you see I got this shirt on right here. This is a new Carolina Panthers shirt from 704 Shop. Let me stand up so you can see it real quick. Gas. All right. So if you want it, it's at 704 Shop now. Get it while supplies last. Use that promo code underscore made for more. That's underscore made number 4 more MOORE. While supplies last, get 10% off of your entire order. Shout out to 704 Shop. Support locally, shop locally. You feel me? But this shirt is gas. This shirt is absolutely gas. And then also 704 Shop got this one as well. 704 Athletics, established 1995. If you know, you know. Gas, dope shirt. Promo code is underscore made for more. Get 10% off your order. So shout out to 704 Shop. Shout out to my guys over there. Make sure y'all shop local, man. Support local businesses. They're doing amazing things out there. And they got some other things cooking up soon, too. So just stay tuned. But this shirt's gas. All right, roll call. It's time for the roll call. Let's see. Shout out to my sister Sierra up in the building. What up, what up, what up? My pops in the building. He telling y'all, make sure y'all don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Look, it's the free way to support the pod, yo. It's a free way to support the pod. We don't ask for nothing, just a like and bring somebody with you next time. You feel me? My dog. What's up, Doug? Out in the building, bro. I appreciate you always supporting me, my boy. You already know what's up with us. So I appreciate you, man. My dog, Chaz, with the if y'all don't know, he made the anthem for a pregame podcast. Gas. Super, super dope rapper. He got a song coming out September 22nd. If he let me, I might have to play that as the pre-show music, man. So yeah, he got some music coming, man. Yeah, I hope Vashai gets well. Me too, bro. Everybody saying it's fire. Appreciate you, bro. The shirt gas. The shirt is absolutely gas. I saw it and I was like, I gotta get it. And the cool thing about it is they have the regular shirts and then also they have the sweaters as well. So you can get this in a sweater, just like this, and it's all black, or you can get this particular sweater and a shirt too. So it's dope, bro. And they got some dope stuff coming. And a cool thing about it is they reach out to me and they'll say like, "Oh, what kind of slogans? What you think about this? What you think about that?" And I think that's so dope, man. So 704 Shop is where it's at, bro. I'm always gonna support them, man. I'm gonna support local business. Olivia in the building. What's up, Olivia? Hope you had a good week. Hope your students didn't get on your nerves this week. So shout out to you pulling up. And yes, this is the thing. Underscore made for more. Get 10% off at the 704 shop. Man, I can keep that on. I should keep that right there the entire time. But yeah, man, get 10% off your entire order. Use that code. All right. Football's back. We lit. I appreciate y'all pulling up. So I don't even know where to start. So we're gonna do we do some reactions because you know the reaction part is always fun. Y'all love the reactions, man. I can't not do reactions. You feel me? So we do some reactions. Also, you know, if y'all been following pregame podcast since the beginning, you know we do week predictions. We got week 1 predictions. The first year we did it, Vashti whooped our tail. Like Vashti was the one like I don't like doing predictions and da da da. Da. Bruh, she was kicking our tail. Last year I held my own. You feel me? Like I held my own a little bit. And Shot was me and Shot were like right. We were neck and neck. We were cooking. So this year's gonna be interesting, right? So we're gonna do week 1 predictions. And then I got some other things to talk about, right? I got some things that I learned about training camp. And then I'm gonna talk about my takeaways or my not even takeaways, but more so my notes of things I'm looking for on Sunday when it comes to the Panthers. So we're gonna talk about that as well. SC's Panthers boy 803. I appreciate you, guy. What's up, man? Welcome pulling up. Thank you for pulling up to the pregame, my guy. All right, so let's get into some reactions. We'll start off with some youth football, man. I saw this hit. I thought this was a crazy hit. And then the celebration after was pretty wild. Let's look at this.
Passes away.
Sheesh, bro. Not that was a nasty hit. That was a nasty hit. Let's you know how we do here at the pregame. We always got to review the film.
Run that back, Turbo.
So we got to run it back. All right. So I'm just gonna let it play as I'm talking. Now here's the thing. First off, let's start it from the beginning. First off, nice route, right? Nice little route. You know what I'm saying? He went inside, out, back to outside. Nasty route. He looks pretty fast. He looks small. He looks pretty small. Clean hit, all shoulder. Now here's the thing though, man. Do y'all think it was too much? And I don't know if his name is Peanut or not, but that's funny as hell. My God, Peanut. But you know, everybody got a cousin named Peanut, an uncle named Junebug. We can go on and on. We're not talking about that right now. But is it too much for him to be walking over him like that? Like, I appreciate the coach for like getting him back in line and like, yo, get back to the next play. But is that too much? Now, my biggest thing is if I'm a coach, that's a teaching lesson for me, right? Good hit. But one thing that my dad always told us is, bro, act like you've done that before. Act like you've been somewhere. Act like you do this, bro. Like, I understand it's a good hit, you know what I'm saying? But nah, like act like you've been somewhere. The walking over and everything, right? That's a flag. That's an unnecessary with unsportsmanlike conduct. Like that's a bit too much for me. And I feel like you should teach them young to do that. Now, granted, I don't have a context in terms of what they said in the locker room, what they said to him. I just saw the hit and I thought it was crazy. But walking over him at that young age was pretty wild. But it looked like the coach was about to get on him. So I'm not even going to trip on it. But that was a nasty hit, man. Great play. But you just gotta act like you've been there before. Act like you do this, bro. Act like you've done that before. So I thought that was interesting. But that hit was crazy. That hit was absolutely crazy. So shout out to young man. I'd rather you do that than do this right here.
to account the fact that Low Pro didn't have their full roster last time, and they still won the championship. Yeah. Now they're fully stacked again.
And they didn't use a money drive well. Oh, my goodness.
Again by Haven.
Oh, he dropped that ball. That ball's alive. That ball is alive. No, that ball is still alive, ladies and gentlemen.
That is not a touchdown.
The ball is still alive.
That is not a touchdown. He dropped the ball celebrating on the 2-yard line.
Right here, first out to 2.
Hey, Kieran, what did he drop?
Nasty work. Beautiful, beautiful
He
defense.
dropped Mama's milk. Look at the replay right here. He doesn't go, oh my goodness. Deshaun Jackson, what have you created in the youth? What have you done to the youth of this nation?
Oh my God, bro. This is another teaching lesson, bro. This is another teaching lesson. First off, beautiful defense, right? Review the film.
Run that back, Turbo.
Beautiful defense. Boom. He read the play, whip route, read it. Great defense. Great defense. But bro, you dropped it right there, bro. Just like at the 5-yard line, bro. Coaching, like, this is where coaching matters, bro. Coaches always said, like, yo, you hold that ball all the way into the end zone, right? He literally drops the ball right before, and then like he could pay, like the whistle didn't blow. I don't see any ref holding up the touchdown signal, and then you just go celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Like that right there, they are taking that film and saying, look, hey, son, look at that, son. You know how coaches, son, didn't we tell you to hold on to the ball all the way through the end zone, son? Like, but that is a teaching moment. And so if I got any young people watching, if you watch this later, if we got some coaches, man, make sure y'all telling people to make sure that you are holding on to the ball all the way into the end zone. Because that right there is absolutely nasty work. Okay? Nasty work. All right. So the other thing I want to talk about real quick is something that I don't even watch a lot of baseball, right? I don't watch a lot of baseball, but I saw this particular thing happen. This is the Houston Astros against the New York Yankees, right? And this particular pitcher by the name of Framber, I think you say it Framber Valdez, he was pitching the game, right? And if you're watching this video, we'll watch it first and then I'll break it down. How about that? All right, let's get into it. All right, so review it. We're gonna
run that back, Turbo.
We're gonna run it back. We're gonna watch this layer. We're gonna peel this layer by layer. All right. So if you pay attention, the catcher is telling him to walk, like hold off, right? Because he may have seen something in what that particular batter was doing. Now, granted, bases loaded, so you got to keep in mind bases are loaded during this particular play, right? So he's telling him like, look, hold off. Back up, reset. He's telling him to reset. Valdez was like, nah, champ, I got this.
Sends that one to left. Altuve going back, watching this one. That's a slam the other way.
So the dude hits it. Grand slam, bro. Bases loaded, grand slam right there. Now, after the grand slam, everyone walks home. This is the very next pitch. Watch this.
Against the Giants.
Just even more rare that both home runs today have come off the left-handed hitter's bats.
Yeah.
Only coming into this game, giving up one home run to a left.
All right, look. Hey, my question to the chat, bro, is was that on purpose? Did he hit his man on purpose? Now, here's the thing. I don't know a lot about baseball, so I took this video, and me and my guy, shout out to Nick Daniels, man. That's my guy, one of my teammates at work. He played baseball at the collegiate level, right? He played baseball at the collegiate level, and he said it looks like the catcher. He was watching this when it happened. He looked at the entire film, and he said that the catcher asked for a slider. You know what I'm saying? Because the catcher is telling you what to play, slider, and he threw a fastball. Right. So the fact that we go back in the beginning and the catcher's telling you to reset, you don't listen. And now you're mad because they just hit a grand slam. Right. And then you come back after that, the very next pitch, y'all.
Slam the other way.
The very next pitch, he asked for a side. You throw a fastball. The catcher's not ready. When have you ever seen anything like that where the catcher is not ready for the ball? The catch. Look at the position of the catcher, bro. And like I said, I don't know much. I know sports, but I don't know a lot about. Like, I know enough to be dangerous, right? But he was not ready for that ball. And then he just turns around. He didn't even say, like, usually if it's somebody's, like, if it's an accident, if you're playing ball, you throw it, you make a bad shot, you're playing basketball or bad pass, or if you're playing football, you do something, you always tap your chest. That's my bad. That's my bad. My fault. You throw your hand up, my fault. The dude didn't do, like, Valdez didn't do any of that. He literally hit the dude in the chest and turns around like it's nothing. Boom. And it turns around like it's nothing. That's insane. You can tell the catcher's pissed. Apparently, from that, I looked it up. The team tried to fight Valdez in the locker room. Like, the team was pissed. So I wouldn't be surprised if Valdez gets traded soon, man. Because that is either traded or released. Because that is absolutely insane. Like, why would you do that to your own teammate? I know you're mad and everything, you know what I'm saying? Because you didn't listen to the reset when he told you reset. Now, granted, context matters. We don't know what was going on, but before then, they could have been. I mean, apparently, you know what I'm saying? If I'm assuming here, but based on the Grand Slam, you were throwing some bad pitches with the fact that the bases were loaded like that. So the catcher's telling you to reset because this could be potentially a grand slam. The batter could have been somebody who's been hitting a lot of homers. Reset. That's why you always need to listen to your teammates and listen to your catchers, bro. Because that's absolutely insane. He tells you to reset, you don't listen, grand slam. Boom. That's four runs right there. And then the very next play, you're gonna get mad and don't listen to the catcher again and hit him in the chest. It's pretty wild, man. And apparently Valdez is a pretty good pitcher. And for him to do something like that, absolutely wrong, bro. Absolutely wrong. Last thing that I want to talk about, and this is absolutely wrong as well, but check this out. This happened at the US Open. Y'all probably seen this. Nasty work. We'll stop it there. We'll keep going. I'm going to cut it down and loop this bad boy. All right. So here's the thing. We're at the US Open. This particular tennis player signing golf balls. What in the world? Signing tennis balls and all that. He takes the hat off. Now, granted, you could tell, bro, as we're looking at this film, he looked at the player. Now, the tennis player is doing a lot of things. He didn't look up. Apparently, this guy is a Poland CEO, a CEO in Poland, right? Not only was he wrong in this particular instance of literally snatching this opportunity from this young child who the tennis player was giving it to, but he doubled down and said, this is a life lesson in terms of needing to be quicker. Like, you got to be quicker than that, basically, is what he was saying. This man doubled down and said, you got to be quicker than that. And then the crazy part about it is, if you're looking at this video, he gives it to his wife, puts it in his bag. And then, of course, that Sharpie was a little boy's. He'll get the boy the Sharpie back. Like, here you go. Like, that is absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like this in terms of you snatching it and then doubling down to say this is a life lesson for that boy. My hope is that particular tennis player, and I don't know your name, but that particular tennis player reaches out and gives some memorabilia or lets that particular child meet him, because this is wild. And this is why I feel as though a lot of players, especially like I use this in terms of football players, this is what I've seen, they always look out for the children, because people like this, bro, that's why they always look out for the kids. Like, you've had your time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that serve you? You are a CEO. You got everything you really need. What does that serve you to get that versus what that child? You don't know what that does to that child, right? So that was absolutely insane. And shout out to my pops with the research, man. The pregame research team. He said he apologized and met with the boy. who apologized at the board? Was it the tennis player or was it the Poland CEO? Because the Poland CEO came back and said, like, you got to be quicker than that. So I'm very curious to see what happens with that. But yo, absolutely insane. So that is some of the reactions. I had plenty of more reactions to go through, but I want to make sure that we on time because I know everybody ready to watch football. So let's get into some content. Let's get it. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight is this particular situation, right? So I'm not sure if y'all paid attention to okay, hold on, time out. I see people responding. Okay, cool. That makes me feel 10,000 times better, brother. Tennis player asked on social media to find the guy, and the guy came forward and apologized. Shout out to the tennis player for finding that guy and him apologizing. Because he deserves to apologize because that was absolutely disrespectful, bro. Like, it's a child, man. Don't get me started. That just pissed me off, especially as a father. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got kids, and if somebody did that to my child, man, it's a whole nother story. All right, so here's the thing, man. It's been a lot of news around like restaurants doing things to kind of up their game, right? One thing that I did not talk about during the pregame on the pod before was the new CEO of Red Lobster doing the seafood boil. People saying it's trash, and then they saying, "I hear what you're saying. We're going to up the game." This and the third. Well, Cracker Barrel got a new CEO as well, and that CEO was like, "Hey, you know what? We're going to change it. We're gonna, change the logo and everything." And they did not expect to see the uproar in terms of Cracker Barrel. Now, granted, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm not a huge fan of Cracker Barrel. I think Cracker Barrel is overrated, my opinion. Uh, my wife loves Cracker Barrel. You know what I'm saying? She loves it, but me, I'm just like, eh. You know what I'm saying? Like their breakfast is okay. Their lunch is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. But a very interesting thing is that the president of the United States decided to jump in when there's plenty of other things to worry about and tell Cracker Barrel to change their logo, which I thought was interesting. I'll just leave it at that. But they went back to the old logo. I thought that was crazy that they were just like, okay, you know what? We're going to change. And they were just trying to adapt to the times. But, I think the reason I want to bring this up is like, sometimes change is necessary and sometimes change isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes this is why it's important to have focus groups to ask people what they're looking for, people who go to these particular restaurants to say, "Hey, will this bother you if we do X, Y, and Z?" And the other thing is too is like for people of importance, sometimes it's okay to mind your business, bro. Like you don't have to get involved in every little thing. There's plenty of other things to worry about versus a Cracker Barrel logo. The biggest thing for me, what I say to Cracker Barrel, focus on the food, leave the logos alone. All right, focus on the food, leave the logos alone. Other thing I want to talk about, Chapel Bill. Did y'all watch this game? Did y'all watch this game? Look, shout out to Vasha because Vasha was in the room where it happened. All right, so she was in the room and I was paying attention to her Twitter. And when I say everybody named Mama was out there, Eric Church, Michael Jordan, Lawrence Taylor, shoot, who else? Who else is in there? It was so many people in there. Luke Combs is probably in there. We know Bill Belichick's young girlfriend was in there. Dang, was that petty? My bad. But I was completely shocked, appalled, in terms of the performance of Chapel Hill, right? And then I thought about it and I was like, look, Chapel Hill wasn't a huge household name when it comes to football. Like I'm talking about like college playoffs type of thing. And we understand. Oh, Doug. Hey, Doug, are you a Tar Heels fan, bro? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. But bro, I was like, Chapel Hill wasn't like a really like college football playoff type of team, right? So we didn't know what to expect because they got so many new players because of Chapel Bill, because of Bill Belichick. But I think it was the fact that Bill Belichick was such a household name. I mean, granted, look, y'all, when's the last time you had a Monday night college football game? Like they really hyped this bad boy up. They hyped this bad boy up. And what? Tyson, hold on, time out. Hold on. I just got breaking news. Hold on. I gotta go look. I gotta go look at this. I gotta see if it's on Twitter. I hold on. Time out. What? All right. I'm gonna get to this. Don't let me forget. Y'all don't let me forget. Do not let me forget about that because I have thoughts. Don't let me forget. That's all right. So here's the thing. The reason I want to talk about this because it's against TCU. If you remember last year, who did TCU play last year? Colorado. And this is when they were the runner-ups, national champion runner-ups, right? And Colorado came and won it was a close game, but they won. So it was interesting that TCU was in the same predicament with a household name with Bill Belichick, and they just dog walked them. Like it looked like they were playing on freshman level difficulty on college football 2026. Like it was rough. And I think that this right here is a lesson for everybody, but then also a lesson for college football in terms of hyping up people too much, i.e., Arch Manning, right? Hyping people up too much and not letting them blossom when it's time to blossom. Like, I understand you're looking for media takes and you're looking for the next big thing, but when people haven't proven themselves in this particular space, I think you should hold off because now it first off, it's not fair to Bill. It's not fair to Arch that people are hyping them up when they're trying to figure out this space. Arch Manning, this was his first start, especially first start. I think he started one game because Quinn Ewers was hurt last year, but first start on the road. But then this is Bill's first game in the college space, right? It's different from the NFL, right? He has to get a hang of it. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what that looks like. And I see what my pop said was like, yo, his son was more exposed than Bill. The only reason I'm saying Bill is because at the end of the day, the head coach is always going to get the blame. I agree. Like that defense was nasty, and not nasty in a good way. It was good and terrible. They could not tackle. They couldn't do anything. But at the end of the day, it's just one game. We'll see what happens. They got my alma mater next. They got Charlotte, and it's at Charlotte. That's gonna be an interesting game. Charlotte lost to App State during the Duke Mayo Classic, so that's gonna be interesting. But one thing I do want to say about college football, though, is it just me? Is it just me, or was this like one of, if not the, I got to go back and do my research, but it's one of the best college football kickoff weekends. Like each game was pretty like in terms of the games, like the Ohio State and Texas game. Yeah, it was a low scoring game, but it was a solid game to me. I thought it was a solid game. But like all the games they had was really, really good. Like I thought they did really well in terms of creating the matchups for kickoff week. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping, but I thought it was really, really good. But I see y'all talking about Arch Manning. Yeah, and the thing is, like, the biggest thing about it, Arch Manning never said Arch Manning never said anything. It was the media and all the press and all the people, powers that be, that were labeling him the Heisman like front runner. Like it's tough. And he did, like, yes, it's because of his last name. Yes, like he had an okay like showing last year, but it's very tough to put that on people when they're trying to establish themselves. Do I think that Arch Manning is overrated? It's too early to say. It's just been one game. Yes, Ohio State has an incredible defense, right? It's Matt Patricia, for goodness sake. Like, it's Matt Patricia over there. Like, they have a good defense. I'm curious to see what happens after that. So I'll say all that to say, bro, it's too early to make an assumption of what the season's going to look like. And be mindful what I say, because I might say this again when I talk about the Panthers. But it's too early to say. But all I'm saying for the media, like let's stop the hype trains and let people become what they will become. And then as we see trends and as we see consistent performance, that will determine exactly what they are. But of course, it's the media. They want to hype up something, so they find the first thing smoking, right? That's just what happens. Um, so that was interesting. Speaking of interesting, another thing that popped up, breaking news today, and this is, and people will like, I think people have swept this under the rug. I didn't see a lot of people talk about this, but I think this is huge news for a lot of different reasons. So if y'all didn't know, Jamar Chase was signed to Nike. He was signed to Nike. He had a Nike brand deal, and he just basically canceled his contract. I don't know if it was up. He didn't renew. The details are still coming out, but basically he is not. He's no longer signed with Nike, and he signed with Kevin Hart's athletic brand, Fabletics. Now, a lot of people will be sitting here and saying, Carlo, who wears Fabletics? Fabletics is lame. Fabletics is like, I don't know, FUBU or this and a third. Let me tell you why it's so dope. Two reasons. One, well, actually three reasons. Number one is he's creating his own lane, right? It's so many really good athletes that are signed to these household names like Nike, like Adidas, like New Balances, right? So it's a lot of mouths to feed in terms of that. So you are really really staking your claim with taking a chance on Kevin Hart. Here's the thing. Kevin Hart, everything he touches is low key gold, y'all. And I think it's so dope that you are supporting a black business as a black successful man who had a amazing career so far, but then also has signed a huge deal. Now you are putting your brand with Fabletics. I think it's amazing. The other thing too is if you pay attention to how this is going, right? I've talked about Kai Cenat on this pod plenty of times. Huge fan of the kid. Huge fan of Kai Cenat and what he's doing over there in the streaming world. AMP, which Kai Cenat's a part of, has their tone fragrance, right? It's like body wash, cologne, deodorant, all of that. They recently signed Travis Hunter as the first Tone athlete. So he is signed to Tone. So you may see him wear the Tone gear and everything throughout this season, right? And then Kai Cenat calls Kevin Hart his mentor. He's mentoring Kai Cenat in this particular Hollywood space, getting him in movies, teaching him the game, all those different things. And now you see that he picked up Jamar Chase. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Travis Hunter was first, Jamar Chase was first. I don't know. But either way, you could tell that they are talking and figuring out how to make smart and huge business decisions together. And I think that is really, really dope. And shout out to Jamar Chase for taking the leap and trying something different, right? Fabletics has been around for a good bit. Kevin Hart is the front runner with that, of course. Is his brand, and this is the way to make a statement, right? Of doing something and finding arguably the best wide receiver in the game to be able to be the face of Fabletics. I think is absolutely incredible, right? And I hope to see more athletes do this and take charge of their career and their brand and their personal brand, because I think that this right here is a game changer in terms of Travis Hunter and Jamar Chase. And it's dope that, he's teaching AMP and everything how the business works. And because of relationships, they got, Travis Hunter, and now Jamar Chase is doing the same thing. Fire. I think it's absolute fire. And I'm curious to see what's going to come out. What is it going to look like? And will this change the game for Fabletics? Now, keep in mind, let's keep it a buck. A few years ago, a lot of people weren't wearing New Balances, but because they started getting more athletes a part of it, and they started changing the game, and their shoes start looking different, I got a few New Balances in the closet, and I'm a shoe head. You know what I'm saying? Not like my sister. My sister a crazy shoe head, but I'm a shoe head. You know what I'm saying? So I got some New Balances in the crib. I just wonder what will happen with that. You feel me? So shout out to Jamar Chase. Shout out to Kevin Hart for doing something like that. Right. The other thing, two more things, and then we'll get into some Panther stuff. I thought this was interesting, and I want to bring this up. Right, is there have been rumors around Anthony Richardson and his agent not requesting a trade, but having discussions about it. Right, and I thought it was interesting. If you don't know, AR lost his starting position to Daniel Jones for the start of the season. We don't know how that's going to go. Right. And a lot of people I've seen on Twitter is like, yeah, he should have requested a trade. I beg to differ. I think that he should stay. And the reason I think he should stay for, I would say two major reasons. I got a few reasons, but two major reasons. One is Daniel Jones was a first round pick, just like you were, and is on his second team, right? So he has a ton to prove, but we've seen what he was able to do in the New York Giants. So you know that there is a possibility that you can win that starting position. Also, you had a counterpart who got drafted 3 positions ahead of you by the name of Bryce Young, who was benched and came back and blew it out the water. Everyone argues that there's 2 issues that's wrong with Anthony Richardson. 1, he can't stay healthy. 2 is the lack of experience, right? And I feel as though that this is a tangent, but I feel like this is going to be a example for college quarterbacks to make sure that they are prepared, ready, and well experienced before they decide to come out. I think that we'll start to see a lot of quarterbacks tend to stay until they have one of those seasons that go crazy. You know what I'm saying? With AR, it was different. He didn't start his freshman year. You know what I'm saying? Like he built he doesn't have a lot of experience under his belt. I think we're going to start to see like that change in terms of making sure that quarterbacks have some experience under the belt before they come out because bro, it's crazy to see the turnover and attrition rate of starting quarterbacks in the league. Also, another tangent while I'm thinking about it, I think it's 16. I thought I saw a stat that said that 16 black quarterbacks are starting. It's the most in the history of the NFL. 16 starting quarterbacks, black quarterbacks this year. I think that's pretty dope. So shout out to that. But I think that's the second reason. The first reason about Daniel Jones and his history. The other thing is you this is an opportunity for you to truly watch somebody sit back and learn and get better with understanding the system at hand. Now Shane Steichen, he had a decision to make, right? He's trying to keep a job, right? And you got to keep in mind, God rest his soul, who Jim Irsay, right? He's the owner who wanted to draft AR. They have a new owner now. Same GM, new owner, who may be looking at things differently. But you should do everything in your power to try to win that starting job back. That means keep being AR, continue to learn as much as you can, be the best scout quarterback you can be, and be completely ready when it's your time to go. Be completely ready. So, look, man, like we'll see what happens with AR. I'm rooting for the kid by any means. Like I think he has a ton of potential. But this is the part around the hype train. We have to stop hyping up players so much. We can say that players are good, that players are great, but when you bring in that other G word outside of great, that generational talent, bro, generational means that you're not going to see another play like this for generations. All right? Stop being so keen to throwing out that word because that was something they were saying about AR. He's a generational athlete. Don't get me wrong. Freak athlete, super fast, super strong, big stature, nice arm. but there's a lot of things that he had to work on. But the hype got him to 4. And now the hype has him sitting on the bench, right? And he can't stay healthy. That's a huge thing too. So I don't think it's over for him yet. It's only year 3 for him. But take this opportunity to learn as much as you can. And when your opportunity knocks, you bust that door open. That's all I gotta say. Last thing I want to talk about, man, and this is gonna be an interesting one. We're gonna get into some Panther stuff. All right, if y'all new here, this is not a Panthers podcast. We do sports, we do pop culture, bro. We talk about everything. I think that's why people love it, right? But I'm gonna say a lot of allegedly's in here because this is, it's the courts involved, the feds involved. I'm gonna be very, very careful on this. But I'm gonna give y'all some information. All right. So if y'all have been living under a rock and don't know who these people are, this is Young Thug. This is Gunna, right? Young Thug. This was a RICO case that happened recently that is now closed because he is out of jail. But he was in jail for a good 2-3 years. But YSL is his label. Gunna was, because he just finished his last album, signed to YSL. Both of them went to jail for quite some time, maybe like a year or so. But Gunna got out because people were saying that he ratted, allegedly ratted. So everybody was all on Gunna, you know what I'm saying, and calling him a rat, this and a third. And this is why having a team around you, a good team, a good PR team is so important. So freaking important. I'm going to explain this. So he gets out. Gunna gets out. Young Thug was in there for another year or so, right? And then he finally gets out, and there, of course, there was, interviews around when you talk to Gunna again. They, everybody was like putting them against each other, and he acted like he didn't want to talk to Gunna. In the meantime, Gunna does not look like this anymore. He got in the gym, right? He changed his whole brand from like the gangsta, I'm outside in the streets type look to, all right, I'm going to, I'm in the gym, I'm working out. He started a run club recently. He did something with House of Athlete. And I ain't gonna hold you. The music pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? His last album, last one, it's a vibe. It's a solid thing. But I hear a lot of rappers, a lot of hip hop heads, a lot of hip hop influencers or reporters and all of that calling Gunna a rat, right? And now there has been leaks, allegedly leaks of phone calls from Young Thug in jail ratting on different people. He said some crazy things recently about Glorilla, calling her ugly. He said some things about Kendrick Lamar. He said some things about people in the YSL piece. And to me, it's very interesting that these things come out now, right? Especially when everybody was all on Gunna. So I got two things that my conspiracy mind started thinking, right? And I was like, yo, do people owe Gunna an apology? Because all these things everybody assumed that Gunna snitched. No, like, records came out to say that, but now we're getting these leaks from Thug saying all these different things. And then two, how are these leaks coming out right now? Is it something where, and this is allegedly, this is my conspiracy theory. I'm just like, yo, how did these come out of nowhere? Like, how do people find these jail calls and leak them? My only bet is like, I'm thinking of something like this. This is like something from a movie or something, but I'm like, all right, so I didn't say the government, but the feds was like, all right, look, we understand. We got everything on Thug. He is guilty as charged, right? Allegedly guilty as charged. But you know what I'm saying? We let him go, but his brand is destroyed. Everything that he said that he was, we're gonna leak these bad boys and just let it do what it do. Is that what happened? Do you foresee something like that happening? I don't know. But like, I could see something along the lines of like, all right, we let him go. Yes, he's on probation, and yes, he can't do X, Y, and Z. But the Young Thug that everybody thinks he wants. No, we're going. Yep, because we heard all the things that you said. Boom. And I don't know, and I think it's very interesting. Of like I always say, like everybody. I've said this before. Like everybody can't go in terms of your circle. Like yeah, keep your circle close and the people that you rock, but like be mindful of having the right people around you at all times, because yo, the whoever is in Gunner's team, PR, marketing, they're killing it. They're killing it in terms of rebranding him as an artist. And bro, I hope that people pay attention to how they're branding him and how he has navigated this lane. And Young Thug, man, he's already had to apologize to Glorilla and say like, hey, he didn't mean everything he said in terms of what he said about her. Um, that was just jail talk, is what he said allegedly. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen in this space in terms of Young Thug and everything. So that's all I want to say about that. I'm going to pay attention to what's going on moving forward. All right. So before we get into week 1 predictions, that's the last thing I'm going to do. I want to talk about this. Jalen Coker. Let me give you some context, man. I've been a Coker fan since Holy Cross. All right. There is if you don't believe me, it's on YouTube, right? I was on PNP during the draft with Rashad and Dave, and you could see my excitement when we decided to sign Jalen Coker to as an undrafted free agent. And I'll be completely honest, I had no idea about Holy Cross until Steve Smith said something about it. And I did my research, I did my Googles, I watched film, and I was like, yo, this dude has a ton of potential. But what we saw in his first year is kind of what we're seeing, unfortunately, right now, is the injuries, right? And he has changed his his diet. He has changed his workout plans in terms of getting healthy, slimming down, all those different things. Um, Here's my thing. I feel bad for him, but I see a lot of people on social media like, here we go again, this and a third. I want to just say this, bro. It is way too early. It is way too early to give up on a second year player. Okay. Everybody said the same thing about JC Horn when he was getting hurt. And now look, Pro Bowler, right? It is way too early to start to have that conversation, right? In terms of, oh, is he injury prone? This and the third. Now, yes, soft tissue injuries are a little scary. I ain't gonna hold you. They are a little scary, but it is too early to say, to make a prediction on his whole entire career, right? Give it some time. He's only out for 4 weeks. And this is why it's so important to make sure that you have a strong committee depth, right? It's important. Now, the other thing I want to say is Hunter Renfrow. I said something that was a hot take last week, and I want to clear it up. I said this is the time we still had Adam Thielen on the team, but I was like, do we really need Hunter Renfrow right now? The Hunter Renfrow, because I was thinking at the time, we still got Adam. He may get traded. We also have Coker. We're good. Like we have all these pieces. Do we really need him if he is not 100% healthy? Now he's on the team. Yes, I was. If you go back to listening to some of my other pods, I was excited for Hunter Renfrow. I thought he was going to make the team. I did. But to hear that he had peaks and valleys, highs and lows, and Canales wanted to be a part of his comeback story, but then also felt like he wasn't entirely ready, to now being on the starting lineup is interesting. Now, do I believe Hunter Renfrow will be a good player? Yes. I think it's going to take time for him to get back to what he was, call it 2 years ago. But he's a proven player in the NFL. We've seen what he can do at a high level in college, in Clemson, and at the Raiders. And so I'm excited to see what they're going to do there. He knows how to get open, but we have to see it at a consistent basis. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing. All right, so let's get into some predictions. Y'all ready, bro? Look, we got about 20, 30 minutes before the real works, like the real stuff starts, man. So look, if y'all play fantasy, make sure y'all lineups are good. If y'all got any Eagles fans, if y'all got any Eagles players, you got any Cowboys players, make sure y'all got y'all stuff in order. All right. I'm in 4 leagues. I got 2 dynasty leagues and I got 2 redraft leagues. I might do that. If y'all interested, if y'all like fantasy people, I might show y'all my teams and see if we cooked. I need to, if y'all interested, we may do that one pod. All right. So here we go. I have not picked them. I have not picked who I think is going to win yet. I wanted to do this like straight off who I think. And it's kind of hard to say right now. Week 1 is always a toss up because you never know. It's hard to watch film on these teams because especially if they got different offensive coordinators, different defensive coordinators, it's difficult. But I'm going to say for tonight, Eagles versus Cowboys. I got Eagles. I'm interested to see what the Cowboys defense is going to look like without Marcus Parsons. I think Kenny Clark's going to play, but I think it's going to be interesting. Curious to see what the defense is going to look like as well for the Eagles. Eagles got some solid pieces. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. That's going to be a party. But I got the Eagles winning tonight. The next one is tomorrow in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Chargers versus Kansas City. I got Chiefs here. I think the Eagles have. I think the Chargers have some solid pieces. They're going to run the ball. That's the Jim Harbaugh type of offense. That's what they're going to do. But I think I got the Chiefs beating the Chargers on this one. Raiders and the Patriots. It'll be interesting. Geno Smith at quarterback. Also, as I'm going through all these, y'all throw y'all predictions in there. You know what I'm saying? Because look, you throw in the chat, it's in writing, and we can always go back and talk about it. So if y'all disagree with my thoughts, if y'all agree or disagree, y'all let me know. And I'm going to skip the Panthers when we get there because the Panthers are going to be last. So hold on a second. All right. So Raiders, Patriots. So I think this is going to be an interesting one. If y'all did not draft Dante Thornton, make sure y'all go pick him up. Amari Cooper retired today. Shout out to Amari Cooper, 10 years in the game, one of the best route runners in the league at one point. The dude was cold, Alabama legend. So I think that's going to be. I think it's interesting that he, signed and then a couple days later was like, nah, I'm good. But I appreciate him for not going through the motions and deciding like, hey, look, my heart's not in anymore. So shout out to Cooper, bro. But Dante Thornton's gonna be solid. All that to say, I think the Patriots might squeeze this out. I think their defense is going to be a little bit different. I think Milton Williams there is going to be solid. Stephon Diggs is going to cook. I think we got Ashton Genty over there too. I hope Ashton Genty go crazy because I got him in fantasy. But I think I got the Patriots on this one. Steelers, Jets. It's going to be interesting, man. Got Justin Fields. I'm curious to see what Justin Fields looks like on the Jets. The Jets is going to be an interesting one because Aaron Glenn is probably going to be calling defense there. I'm not exactly sure if he is or not because I'm not really that in tune to it. My guy, hold on, I got to shout out the GOAT, man, Ricky. Shout out to Ricky in the chat, man. Shout out to Panthers on Tap. Ricky, I was going to reach out to you. We got to do a pregame Panthers on Tap collab soon. I've been thinking about it and trying to figure out some ways. I would love to have Curtis and Bryson and you on. Let me know. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you pulling up, man. Let's see. So Aaron Glenn, Steelers. Who knows with Aaron Rodgers, but DK Metcalf's over there. Jalen Warren at running back. Because of Jalen Ramsey over there. I think I got the Steelers. I think I'm gonna do the Steelers here. All right, so let's do Dolphins, Colts. We got the Daniel Jones and the Tua. I don't know. The way the Dolphins looked last year, it's kind of hard to pick them. They have lost some big pieces on defense. I think I got the Colts squeezing this one out. Shockingly, I think I got the Colts squeezing this one out. Cardinals, Saints. I ain't gonna waste no time. Cardinals winning this one. The Saints are T-Rash, okay? Trash. Cardinals winning this one. Giants, Commanders. Let's Let's see, man. I'm curious to see what Abdul Carter's gonna look like in the Giants jersey. That look, as much as we talk about Giants Giants front seven, it's pretty scary. I ain't gonna hide. Their defensive line is crazy. But I got the Commanders. Got the Commanders winning this one, man. That offense is stacked. So I got them playing. I'm skipping the Panthers to come back to that. Bengals, Browns, Bengals here. I'm curious to see what Sleepy Eye Joe's gonna do over there. But I think I got the Bengals winning this one. This is gonna be an interesting one. A division game for the NFC South. We got the Bucks, we got the Falcons, right? Um, I think I got the Bucks winning this one. I think the Bucks offense. I think the defense is gonna be interesting. I'm curious to see what James Pierce and why can I think of his name? Somebody that we talked about all offseason that they picked up. That was the first pick in the first round. Why can't I think of his name? I see his face from Georgia. Holy. I can't think of his name. Anyway, I'm curious to see what they're gonna look like. But I think I got the Bucks. I think I got the Bucks winning this one. Let's see. Titans, Broncos. Cam Ward's first game against Sean Payton. As much as I hate Sean Payton, I might have the Broncos squeezing this one out. 49ers, Seahawks. Christian McCaffrey say he's back to 100%. Ricky Pearsall is wide receiver 1. Juwan Jennings is back. San Francisco's defense is always good. Sam Darnold, will he see Ghost in Seattle is the question. JSN is wide receiver 1. Kenneth Walker, RB1. Jalen Walker, thank you. Jalen Walker, bro. I couldn't think of his why. I don't know why. I guess when he wasn't a Panther, he just left my mind. But yeah, Jalen Walker. I'm curious to see. I know he's been kind of injured a little bit, but I'm curious to see what he's gonna look out there. That Falcons defense may look a little different, but we shall see. I think I got the Niners pulling this one out. I think I got the Niners. They had a rough season last year, but I got the Niners pulling out this particular. But dang, I forgot they got Cooper Kupp over there too. That's gonna be a close one. That's gonna be a really good game, actually. I think I low key. I might have to. I think I might do the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks will surprise some people the first game at least. We know how it is. We know how Sam Darnold is the first couple games. We've seen it. We've seen it. All right, he may be on fire, and we see what happens later on. So I think I got the Seahawks. Lions, Packers. This is gonna be very interesting. A Ben Johnson-less team. A Ben Johnson-less team. But they got some pick. They got some solid receivers over there. Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Isaac Tesla, my boy Jahmyr Gibbs over there. And then you got Michael Parsons on that Green Bay defense. I think that Green Bay may win this one. I think they have a lot of good pieces on both ends of the ball. There's a lot of hype. We talk about this hype train. There's a lot of hype around them. So I think the Packers may win this one on at home. Texans, LA. I think I got the Texans on this one. I'm curious to see what Devontae Adams is going to look like with Puka. The question mark is Matthew Stafford. Will he remain healthy? LA is a pretty a sleeper team that people are tending to forget about. But I think I got the Texans on this one. Baltimore and Buffalo. That's the Sunday night game. It's going to be interesting. Good game. Josh Allen and team against Lamar Jackson and team. Ooh. Who do I have, Carlo? I'm going to go Lamar. On this one. I think the Bills have a lot to prove. Oh, it's at home. I might have the Bills. Bills have a pretty solid defense. Josh Allen and team. They got some good receivers over there. Hopefully Zay Flowers goes crazy for my fantasy. But yeah, I think I got Bills. All right, last game before we get to Panthers is Vikings, Bears. Who do I have? Ben Johnson's first game at home. Got a lot of pieces. Curious to see what that defense is going to look like. I got Vikings. Monday Night Football. Vikings. That's what I got. All right. That was fun, man. I forgot how much predictions are difficult. It's fun. Look, first week is all guesses. After that, you can start to see some trends and figure that out. So I want to get into the Panthers Jags game. All right. Dang. All right. So first things first, I got the Panthers winning. Of course, I got the Panthers winning, man. But here's some things that I got some things I'm looking for on Sunday. All right. So the things that I'm looking for in terms of a Panthers victory is the first thing is consistency, right? I think that there's been plenty of times where we've seen us start off like, oh yeah, we scored on the first opening drive, and then things go down, or we start off bad and then out of nowhere we start to pick it up. I want to see consistency. And it's not gonna, and I don't mean consistency in terms of scoring every drive, because that may, I mean, this is the NFL, that may not happen. But what I want to see is progression, right? Us moving the ball. No, like I don't want to see three and out, a lot of three and outs. I don't want to see um pre penalties or pre snap penalties. Excuse me. I don't want to see those things. I want to see positive consistency. Right. We're not going to be able to, like, let's try our best to get points on the board, whether it's Fitzgerald kicking a field goal or whether it's getting in the end zone. That's the first thing I want to see. The way that we win this game is going to be trench work, right? Shout out to my shirt. The shirt I usually wear, Trench Mafia, right? It's going to be trench work on both ends of the ball. It's going to be keeping Bryce clean, because at the end of the day, we're going against Josh Hines Allen and we're going against Trayvon Walker, two really good edge rushers. So those tackles and the trench work have to be strong. How can we give Bryce the time that he needs to operate the passes, but then also how can we keep them at bay to make sure that Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle has a good run, has a good. I hope that we are starting off showcasing that we will be stubborn with the run. So that trench work is going to be important. The other thing is the Jacksonville offensive line is a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy. So I want to. I think our issue, we know. I know our biggest issue last year was getting to the quarterback. Now with DJ Wanham, with Pat Jones, with Nick Scordon, with Princey Uman we have on paper a lot of potential to get to the quarterback. People tend to forget Wharton had about 8.5 sacks last year, including the playoffs with Kansas City. So we have the opportunity to have pass rushers in the inside and outside get to the quarterback, right? So Trevor Lawrence, he's mobile. He's been iffy lately, right? And with you having a Brian Thomas Jr., a Travis Hunter, we can't give him enough time for them to get open. We have to get to the quarterback. So trench work's going to be important. The other thing, I got 4 takeaways. So that's the second. The third one is confidence, right? And that speaks for Bryce. It speaks for everybody. Come in with the confidence that we've been talking all preseason. I say, and I think I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, why Nalo saying he's nervous?" He's gonna have nerves, man. Like it's his rookie year. It's his first game. But at the end of the day, this is the sport they've been playing for how long? You know what I'm saying? Since they were kids. At the end of the day, have the confidence to know that you were that guy, that you were those dudes, and that all that work that you put in during the offseason matters. And the last thing, which I think is the biggest thing that I'm looking for Sunday in order for a Panthers victory, is to challenge your tendencies. This is for off defense and offense. I think that the biggest thing is it's been a lot of film to watch in terms of Canales' offense that a lot of people are watching. And he has tendencies on what he wants to do. We've seen a lot of times where we thought that we will run on the first play of the drive when we threw. But there's tendencies that you do on a 3rd and 2 or a 2nd and 7. Challenge those tendencies so that you throw people off. And then also on the defensive side, there's been things that Evero has done that has been obvious of like, okay, why is this particular outside linebacker backing off in coverage when they should be running on a 3rd down? Like, challenge those tendencies that you're used to doing and shake it up a bit. You have a revamped defensive line. Revamped defensive line, revamped defense in general. And I'm curious to see, like, is J.C. Horn going to shadow? Is he going to shadow Brian Thomas Jr. or Travis Hunter? Are we going to have some exotic coverages? I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But those tendencies that we used to do, apparently, we've seen we're not working in some cases. So, how do we challenge those tendencies to keep the other offensive coordinator on the Jaguars or the defensive coordinator of the Jaguars on their toes? That's what I want to see. Those right there are huge things that I'm looking for a Panthers victory. All right. It's 8:23. It's time to watch football. Quick heads up. Next week is going to be my last pod for maybe a few weeks. Actually, me and my family were going to move into a new home. So new home, new studio. It's gonna be fire. I can't wait for y'all to see. So give me some time to get my bearings. I may try to drop a video time to time just to kind of give updates and give my predictions and all that stuff. But just give me some time to get stuff situated. But I will be back on next week, hopefully. If not, I'll just, post something on Twitter or Instagram or whatnot. Also, once we move into the new spot, that's when I will start streaming on Twitter. Streaming on Twitch. And that'll be something I do personally. But next time, I think Shot will be on next week. And then October, the whole crew will be back. Me, Shot, Vashti. Make sure y'all subscribe. I think we're at like 393 subscribers. We're trying to get to 500. So make sure y'all tell people. Like I told you, best kept secret podcast out here, man. Make sure y'all let people know. Like this particular episode for me. That's a free way to support this podcast and boost the algorithm so other people see this podcast. I appreciate you all. Enjoy football. We made it. We're back. And keep pounding. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.